Hey everybody, I'm Kenna.
And I'm Ty.
And we are TKC Travels.
We just spent 7 days on the Norwegian Breakaway.
And we're going to tell you everything we think you need to know before you sail the Norwegian Breakaway.
Make you want it forever. Trying to play a game, but you don't play for keeps. Messing with a girl from the east side, yeah. Kinda love you, wanna build your dreams, yeah. But I already know better. I'm a go-getter and I got me.
Our cruise started in New Orleans, Louisiana. We drove to the port and parked at Fulton Parking Garage. They have a shuttle that'll pick you up and take you to the port and then drop you back off at your car at the end of your cruise. The other options for parking are the whale lot at the port, or there are a few hotels that will allow you to keep your car there and you can either catch an Uber or a shuttle to the port. We arrived at about 11 a.m. We were through check-in very quickly. We didn't have any issues. A few people that got there later in the day said it started to get a little bit more hectic.
Once we arrived on the ship, we went straight to lunch. We chose to go to the main dining room. That's one of the options for lunch. You have O'Shea's, but it's usually always really busy, or the buffet. The buffet has very long lines on embarkation day, and it was really, really crowded. The rooms, for some reason, on this sailing weren't ready till like almost 3 o'clock. Normally it's 1:30, but we don't know what happened. They do have a place that you can leave your luggage. I don't remember where it's at on this ship. So once you've eaten lunch and kind of found your way around on the ship, you need to go to your muster station. The muster station on this ship was probably the easiest muster station we've ever done. When you do your online check-in, it makes you watch a safety video before you can ever finish your check-in. Once you arrive at your muster station, all you do is let them scan your card. There's no life jacket demonstration or anything like that. So I do recommend, please go get your muster station done in a timely manner, because if not, they won't leave on the ship, and then they'll be hollering at everybody or shutting bars down and this and that, and nobody likes that.
Another thing you want to do pretty early when you get on board is go and register your kids for the kids club. There is Splash Academy for ages 3 to 12 and Entourage Teen Club for 13 to 17. There is no babysitting service or club for kids 2 and under, however. We had some kids in the Entourage Teen Club. They get a bracelet the first time they attend, and if they lose it, they will be charged $20 for a replacement. So that's something you may want to talk to your teens about ahead of time. Our kids spent most of their time at the arcade and the sports deck and the pool area. The teen club is capacity controlled, so if they didn't get there as soon as an event started, there were times they were turned away. They also had the Ultimate Arcade Package, which is unlimited arcade play on any machine that has a green swipe. I think it was $175. We only purchased one for 2 kids to share. They can do up to 3 swipes per minute. If they do more than that, the card will be disabled for 15 minutes. There's also some games in O'Shea's that had green swipes that they were able to use as well.
Now let's talk about entertainment. The entertainment you can book, you can pre-book before you ever get on the ship. That's what we did. But if not, we recommend as soon as you get on the ship, go find one of the touch screens or go to the box office. There's a couple different places that you can go book and make your reservations, but there's touch screens on every level by almost every elevator that you can book all your reservations at.
The 2 shows on our sailing that required reservations were Six and Burn the Floor. As of January 2024, Six is no longer going to be on the Breakaway, but if you do get a chance to see it on land somewhere, it is definitely worth watching. The other show, Burn the Floor, has been performed on Broadway and the West End in London for over 25 years. It is a modern take on ballroom dancing with very talented dancers.
One of the more popular venues on the ship is Sid Norman's Poorhouse. We went there on the first night, and let me tell you, it was worth every minute of it. The vocalists, the band, just everything about it was phenomenal. Some of the best music, singing I've ever heard on a cruise ship.
Yeah, we had a great time. The downside of it is a very small venue and it fills up quickly. The line would form probably an hour before a show, and if you weren't standing there waiting, you probably were not going to get a seat. There is a show on board called Rumors, which is a cover of the Fleetwood Mac album. I really thought that they might move that to the theater since it was so popular. We've seen that done on the Encore with some of the Beatles shows that would be in the Cavern Club. They did play them in the main theater a couple of nights, but that never happened on the Breakaway. Another one of the evening entertainment options is the Howl at the Moon Dueling Pianos. It was held at the Headliners Comedy Club. It was a great time. Piano bars are always a great time. Later at night, it gets a little more adult themed, so you probably want to send the kids to Splash Academy for that.
The atrium is always full of entertainment. It's always either music, game shows, movies. There's always something going on in the atrium. But there's only one downfall. You got to get there early. If you want to see something, watch something, there's limited seating and it's always very full. So anytime we was over there, we always found ourselves standing in the back trying to watch.
Most nights there was comedy in the comedy club. They would have a family-friendly show and then later at night an R-rated show. We went to one of the family shows with the kids. We had a great time. The guy was really funny. Sometimes the shows can be borderline between PG-13 and R-rated, and this guy was actually really clean, but he made us laugh at the same time.
Now let's talk about parties. Norwegian Cruise Line knows how to have a party. On the Breakaway, they have a spot called the Spice H2O, which is an adult area on the ship during the day. During the day, no children are allowed. It's got hot tubs and a bar and stuff like that. But at night, it turns into the dance floor. It's got a big screen. And let me tell you, they party. They have a Latin party, a 70s party, an 80s party, a 90s party, a glow party. They have a party almost every night on that ship, and they know how to have a good time. Where Carnival's parties will usually start for about 15 minutes, the cruise director will be there and then is gone and on to something else. Not on Norwegian. When it starts, it goes for at least a good hour. I mean, you will literally be wore out. Then they don't miss a beat. They go the whole time.
There's also a nightclub that's open late every night. But if none of that is your scene, there's also raffles at the onboard shops. There's art events. And there's a spa.
And then for you sports enthusiasts, if there's football games going, like playoff games and stuff, they usually always try to show them either at O'Shea's or at the Spice H2O on the big screen, depending on the weather.
Okay, now let's talk about food. The included options are the 24-hour pub O'Shea's, the buffet Garden Cafe, and 3 main dining rooms. There's also a noodle bar. One thing you won't see on the Breakaway is a specific spot just for like pizza or burgers. All of that is going to be on the buffet, but it is a very large buffet. They have a little bit of everything. There's an Asian station, an Indian station. There's burgers, like I said, pizza, a salad bar. Pretty much anything you could think of or that you would see in separate venues on other ships is going to be located at the buffet. The 3 dining rooms are Taste, Savor, and the Manhattan Room. They all 3 serve the same menu. The Manhattan Room is a little bit dressier. They do require men to wear long pants and closed-toed shoes, whereas Taste and Savor are more casual.
We recommend making dinner reservations. We had all of our reservations made before we ever got on the cruise ship. And if you don't, you will stand in line. The lines get very long. We saw long waiting lines, but we moved right through pretty quick by having reservations. The noodle bar is a different kind of line. I've never seen anything like it. There was people there literally over an hour before the noodle bar opened. It's definitely one of the longest lines I've ever seen on a cruise ship waiting to get in. So I don't know what to recommend on it. I don't even know if they do reservations at the noodle bar. But the main dining rooms, all of them do make reservations. And I do recommend making them before you ever get on the cruise ship, or make them as soon as you get on the cruise ship. Whether you go or not, at least you've got it made because they will, after just a few minutes of you not being there, they will give your table up to someone else.
One of my favorite things about Norwegian Cruise Line is their specialty dining. They have so many options, and if you book with the Free at Sea promotion, you're going to get a certain amount of specialty dining credits. And you can also upgrade that and purchase more or pay a la carte prices. On this sailing, we had one specialty credit per person, and we chose to use it at the Moderno Steakhouse.
The Moderno Steakhouse is a Brazilian steakhouse, and let me tell you, it's very good. You start off going to it's like a buffet. It's a 43 item buffet. It's your salad bar. It's got meats, cheeses, soup on it. It even had some sushi on it. Everything off of it was very good. After you get your plate there, then you make your way back to the table. Then that's when they get ready to start bringing around all the meat. There's 7 or 8 different varieties of meat. They come around on a big skewer. You've got cards that are green and red. As long as you've got your card turned over on green, they'll keep coming by bringing you food. All the food was very excellent. We had already turned our cards to red. We were so stuffed and ready to go. But then they come around and asked us if we had the pineapple. Do not ever leave without eating the pineapple. It's a roasted pineapple, and let me tell you, it's the best thing probably in the steakhouse. I mean, it was excellent. Very glad what they talked us into waiting on it and trying it. It was excellent.
We also tried a couple of sushi rolls at Wasabi one night. We just paid a la carte for those. It was cheaper than buying a dining credit just for 2 sushi rolls, and they were very good. We really enjoyed it. The other options for specialty dining on the Breakaway are Ocean Blue, which is a seafood restaurant, Cagney's, which is the steakhouse, La Cucina is your Italian option, Le Bistro is French, the Raw Bar is another seafood place that focuses more on raw seafood. And there is also a teppanyaki, which is the Japanese hibachi. There is also a gelato place and a bake shop on board that are an extra cost, as well as a Starbucks.
Our first port of call on this cruise was Cozumel, Mexico. You can't go wrong at Cozumel. Cozumel's a very good cruise port. It's a very traveled cruise port for most cruise lines, and you just can't go wrong at Cozumel.
We docked at the Punta Langosta port, which is different from where Carnival docks. This port is kind of like a 2-level shopping mall. You'll start off on the top level and then have to make your way down to the street level to exit. The shops on the bottom floor right before the exit are much nicer than the ones you'll find at the top. We went to Paradise Beach, which is an all-inclusive beach club in Cozumel. We had a great time. We booked it directly on their website and just caught a taxi when we got there and another taxi to make it back to the port.
Our second port of call on this itinerary was Roatan.
We docked at Coxswain Hole. It is just a small port. There's a few shops and a couple of restaurants there, and that's it. It did look like they were expanding when we were there. According to the Roatan Tourism Bureau, they're adding a sea life encounter, a wildlife encounter, and a lazy river. We purchased an excursion through the cruise line called My Key Private Island Retreat for $99 per person.
Once you got off the ship at the cruise port, it was just a little walk over, and there was another boat waiting there to take you to the island. It was literally a 5-minute boat ride to the island. It's just right across from the cruise port. Once you arrive at the island, you're greeted by a very nice lady who kind of tells you how everything works on the island, and then you're kind of turned free. We went and made a quick tour. It has a very nice pool, tons of beach loungers, big long beach. There's a buffet lunch. The lunch is included. You also get tea and water included, but any drinks after that, it comes at a price. It is a wildlife preserve on the island. It has lots of injured wildlife animals. You can go take pictures with monkeys. and it's at no extra charge. It's all included. You use your own camera. They bring the monkey out, put it on your shoulder, and let you take as many pictures as you want. One thing I will recommend, and it's not just on this island, but it's Roatan, is they have sand fleas very bad. There was people that just got ate up without having bug spray. We actually forgot our bug spray, but thank goodness we didn't get too many bug bites. But there was people who was ate up pretty bad.
They do offer snorkeling on the island. They have equipment there you can rent or you can bring your own. If you do bring your own, just keep in mind you need a life vest and fins. It's required. So if you don't have that, you can rent it on site. Our third stop on this itinerary was Harvest Key. That is Norwegian's private island in Belize. If you have ever visited their other private island, Great Stirrup Key in the Bahamas, the food and drinks were included. That is not the case at Harvest Key. All of that is going to come at an extra cost. And you will want to bring cash or a credit card with you to shore because you will not be able to charge your food and drinks to your Sail and Sign account.
Once you arrive at the island, it's a pretty good walk. It's about a 10-minute walk down the pier. It is a covered pier, so it's in the shade, or it helps protect from rain. When we was there, it was raining. They do have plenty of shuttles though that will take you to and from the ship for tips. So you can jump on one of them if you want to wait in line for that, or if not, just take off walking.
There are plenty of loungers on the beach, and there's also a huge pool and a kids splash area. There are zip lines that you can do for an extra cost. We did an excursion. It was a short 1.5 hour boat ride. It was called the Placencia Lagoon Wildlife and Mangrove. We purchased that through Norwegian for $69 per person.
We got on the boat there right on the island. They've got a area where all their boat tours and stuff take off. Once we got on the boat, we took off really slow, looking at birds and other wildlife. Then they took us around to where there was some manatee action. Did learn that the engine scared the manatees, so we would pull up and just float for a while. Once the motor was off for probably 5-10 minutes, then manatees would start coming up. Did see a cow-calf pair. On from that, we made our way across towards the mainland, towards the mangroves. Saw some really nice houses that actually were up in the mangroves. Beach houses. It was just a very good boat tour all around.
The last stop on our itinerary was Costa Maya, Mexico. We didn't do an excursion in Costa Maya. We slept in a little bit that morning, and then we got off and ate lunch at the port.
Once we got done eating lunch at the port, something I've always wanted to do was the bird aviary. It has a really neat bird aviary. It's up in the air. It's got swinging bridges that go all across the port. It's, I don't remember, $10, $15 a person. But it's very neat. I highly recommend it if you've never done it. We did that. It went across where you could actually see the dolphin encounter from up above. It was really neat. Lots of different birds, different areas. It spanned all across that port. Once we got done with that, we went down and checked out some shops. One thing we did notice from the last time we was there, they've got a new part that's opened up with a new pool, a big pool. It's almost like a beach surrounding the pool. I don't know how long it's been open, but a very big improvement for that port.
Yeah, it was not there when we were in Costa Maya in December of 2022. So our final thoughts, the ship overall is very beautiful and it's very well kept up. It never felt crowded unless you were at the buffet or on the pool deck, and I think we were close to full capacity. You could always find a quiet spot during the day to just hang out. We especially enjoyed the waterfront. There is 2 bars out there and ample seating, and we spent a lot of time out there during the day. There are over a dozen bars on board the Norwegian Breakaway. Our favorite was Malting's Whiskey Bar. They serve a variety of whiskeys from around the world, as well as some specialty cocktails and draft beer. The decor is reminiscent of Scotland, and there is also a humidor located inside the bar where you can smoke cigars if that's your thing. If you don't have a cigar, they do have them for sale. But keep in mind, you cannot smoke cigarettes in there, just cigars.
One last thing I want to talk about on the ship was the public restrooms. The ship has very nice public restrooms, a lot nicer than some other cruise ships I've been on. But the only downfall I've seen is like when you come out of the theater, there's always a long line at the restroom. That's probably one of the smallest public restrooms there is. But then on other floors where a restroom probably doesn't need but 2 or 3 stalls or something, it's got a dozen stalls. That the restroom placement was just not in the right places for certain venues. But overall, the ship does have excellent amount of public restrooms, so you don't ever have to wait very long.
So, would you sail on Norwegian Breakaway again?
Yes, I would definitely sail on Norwegian Breakaway again. It's a very nice ship, large ship, plenty of options, things to do. You'll honestly never get bored on that ship.
I totally agree. This was actually our second time to cruise on the Breakaway. The Breakaway was our first Norwegian ship that we ever cruised on, and it is what had made us fall in love with the line and keeps us coming back. So if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you're new, and if you have any other questions about the Breakaway or about this itinerary, leave them in the comments below and we'll do our best to answer them.